for biting the sleeve, but he's more important. He's more into to the person. So once he stops caring about the person, then he'll stop stressing as much because he wants to really protect your mom. Don't lean over so much. There you go. Good boy.
I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Sent your pretty ass soon as you came in the door. I just wanna chill, got a sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Showed her how to whip and now she remix it for low. She my track queen, like her the bando. We be counting up, watch our body bands go. We just had to go, talking about your Lambos. I 56 a gram, from 100 gram phone. Man, I swear I love her, how she work the damn phone. Hit the strip club, we be letting the bands go. Everybody hatin', we just call the bands though. In love with the money, I ain't never like. I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Sent your pretty ass soon as you came in the door. I just wanna chill, got a sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Showed her how to whip and now she remix it for low. Man, I swear I love her, how she work the damn pole. Hit the strip club, we be letting the bands go. Everybody.
Alright guys, so I'm going to try my best and narrate the starting of a dog right here. So what we did was we took this Rottweiler and we put him on a tie down with his owner holding the leash. Now, what we're trying to do is intimidate him enough to fight or flight. You can see he's in avoidance and then he comes out to fight, but then he flashes back in avoidance. This is day one. This is completely normal with any working dog, especially if they haven't been built on a drive as a puppy. This is what you're going to see on the first initial day. And what Chris is doing is he's pulling him out. He's pulling the dog out to engage with him and to come out of avoidance. So he's baiting him out. The dog will come out and bite the sleeve and retreat. This is completely normal behavior in the first day. So this is not abnormal behavior. So as Chris is still working, we got him on a harness. This is great for harnesses because the dog is able to use his neck, and he's just pulling the dog to him, forcing the dog to bite the sleeve. So he's trying to get the dog driven to bite the sleeve, and he gives the dog the sleeve and backs off. And then the owner praises the dog. This is what day one looks like. This is normal behavior. That's fight or flight. So in day two, we put him in the box. And the reason why we want to put him in the box is because we want him to get a good grip on the bite sleeve and hold. We want him to hold on to that sleeve as long as he can so he's not as erratic and sporadic and biting and all over the place. We want him to settle down. We want him to settle down and fight with the decoy and not run from the decoy. So we put him in a box. He's at the same eye level as the decoy. Decoy gives him the sleeve. He's just slightly tapping it just to agitate the dog to keep biting and holding. And the owner's praising her dog at the same time. We're only doing it in day two. There's no commands. There's nothing special. We're actually using classical conditioning. So as he taps that sleeve, he is agitating the dog to get an aggressive posture to want to bite. So he wants to fight. So he's using classical conditioning to motivate the dog to engage with the decoy. So by tapping the sleeve, every time the dog hears that noise, he wants to fight. So he brings him back out of the box on day 2 just to see where he's at with that bite. You always want to check in to see if he's going to hold it. And then another decoy comes in and does the same thing. They're just tapping the sleeve, letting the dog hold the bite. They're not fighting the dog. They are just allowing the dog to get used to biting the sleeve. Remember, this is day 2. We're not in a hurry. We want the dog to settle down and start to become more confident in his bite skills. We don't want him to become a maniac or become very fearful. We want him to become very, very confident. So again, if you watch the decoys, they're tapping that, they're agitating him, and they're just spiking his levels up to want to bite the sleeve. So they're using classical conditioning, noise from the bamboo, that agitates the dog to bite onto the sleeve. The owner has no command, and the decoy is not doing very much with the dog besides allowing him to bite. Here we go again. Now we're just letting him hold. We want to see how long he's going to hold and how powerful. So we jolt back and forth, a push and pull method, and just hold the dog. We're not throwing the dog, nothing crazy. We're just allowing the dog to get used to the pressure of taking the sleeve and having a decoy up in front. Basically learning how to grip on that juke sleeve, how to hold a good bite. This is important. This is going to be a very good instrumental tool when you get down the road, guys. You're going to need that dog to hold on to that sleeve and bite and grip with all their might. You don't want them half biting. You don't want them scared to bite. You don't want none of that. This is where injuries come in. You want the dogs fully aware of what their surroundings and understand the job that they're tasked is protecting the handler. So the bite box elevates the dog to the status as of the handler, and it gets them ready. If you notice, every single decoy that's walked up, they haven't tapped the dog with the bamboo, but they've used the bamboo, the rattling noise, to get the dog to engage with the decoy. Remember, we're classical conditioning the dog to the noise of the agitation of the sleeve, of the bamboo, so they bite the sleeve. Chris immediately steps in. He doesn't even have a bamboo, and the dog reacts, right? This is going to come into play on day 3. So we're starting to condition the dog to fight or flight. He's completely out of flight mode. He's not in avoidance because he has nowhere to hide, but he's still panting. You can see it. He's still a little stressed. So now we're going to test that on day 3, see if he holds on while he's on the ground, right? So as he goes in, he's holding his bite. And I'm not doing absolutely nothing. I'm just shaking him back and forth. I want him to push in harder on the sleeve. And he's holding a bite. If you saw on day 1, he was biting and releasing. Now on day 3, he's holding a good solid bite. This is important. That's the reason why the bite box comes in for bite development, is to allow the dog and give them the attention to bite and hold on to the sleeve. When I put it up there, I want you to say Fass, which is German for bite. Ready?
Fass! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy!
So if that snap, then she would have the secondary control the holding. Right? So I'm gonna come up. She's saying watch.
Watch. Watch. Watch.
So what I want him to do is I want him to do that same thing without much action, but while she's saying it, I want her to do
Watch.
it. She said that.
Watch.
Right. So before she was saying watch, and he really wasn't reacting. Now when she says watch, he starts to get ready.
Watch.
Right?
Watch. Watch. boy. Good boy.
So I'm gonna give him the sleeve if he wins.
Good boy.
Right, we want him to win.
Good
If I take it from him, he's not gonna win. He's gonna stop wanting to play this game. So I want to make him possessive of that bite sleeve.
boy.
Normally, if you get a German Shepherd or some kind of other breed, you're out here, you're yelling, you're screaming, and you're trying to get the dog fired up. Normally, if you have a pit bull or
Watch. Good boy, watch. Pass. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Good job.
Good boy.
and I like how he was more settled. He really reacted to the stick. He was more settled, and he was actually listening to her more.
Right.
As you said, watch. Then he got up, and then he reacted.
Yeah, I could tell he wasn't like coming like at me as much. Yeah.
He wasn't so jippy, jumpy from the jump. All right, you're gonna do one more, and then you're gonna do two. Is this your first time seeing it in action?
Yeah, we've had other trainers, but that was you too.
Oh, you do.
It was you too. If you want me to be honest, it was you too.
Ready?
It's different at first.
Me and my middle brother was watching it, so I didn't see what the hell was going
Good boy. Watch. Watch.
So you'll see a lot of trainers here. They'll take him and tie him to a post like that.
Watch.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's the worst way to do it because you're teaching the dog. So this is how they dog.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Watch. Watch.
Here. So I'm gonna come in closer because I don't want him sliding too.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Watch. 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 Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Good job. Good boy, Kolohe.
Ain't nobody yelling.
Good job.
Feeding him. No one's forcing him to protect him. He can choose now to not do it. So what they call is fight or flight. If you take your dog to a trainer and you give them all this money and they feel like, well, she paid me, so I gotta do it. They will spook that dog and the fear of their life to make them bite. And this is how you have that dog bite with a trainer.
Good job. You ready? Ready. Ready? Watch. 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 Good boy. Watch. 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 Good boy. Good boy. Good job, Kolohe. Good job.
That's what her command watch. I give this sleeve.
You return.
Ready?
Yeah, she can see me? Yeah. Watch. Good boy. Watch.
Bring your sleeve up.
Watch. 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 Good boy.
Pull back. Pull your head back.
Good boy.
There you go.
Good
Make sure your
boy.
head's back.
Good boy. Good boy.
There you go. That's perfect. Always keep an eye on him. If you see it come out of his mouth, step back.
I could see he was kind of like
Yeah.
coming off losing interest almost.
Yeah. Probably getting a little tired. But he's settling down now. Randy, you ready?
Pass the baton over.
So right now what we're doing is just working on his bite and grip and his hold. If he's doing it, he should be able to hold it as long as possible. So he should have a really good grip and a perfect bite. He has a perfect bite, but because he doesn't have the endurance and doing this well, he's not gonna hold as long. So after about 5-10 seconds, I tell him to drop the sleeve and let him. Because right now, because this is his third day, he's stressing. That's more than him biting. He's really stressing because he's stressing over the guy. He's paying attention to the guy. He's being generous by biting the sleeve, but he's more important. He's more into the person. So once he stops caring about the person, then he'll stop stressing as much because he wants to really protect your mom. Don't lean over so much.
Watch.
There you go.
Good boy.
There you go.
Good boy. Good job, Kolohe.
There you go.
Good boy.
so it was just constant shaking. So what are we gonna do?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get him off the box and let him get some